Greetings from Auburn, Washington. Here we come to you this Saturday of Holy Week, a day we set aside to remember the Shabbat. Now, many people say, what exactly happened on this Saturday? We know yesterday we saw the death and the burial of Jesus Christ. But as we look at the Jewish culture and as we begin to understand what is taking place, the Jews themselves were celebrating the Sabbath. At sundown on Friday night is the beginning of the Sabbath, an opportunity where the Jews remember the creation story as found in the first chapter of the Torah and also found in the Christian Bible in Genesis chapter 1, where we see that over a 6-day period, God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it. And on the seventh day, he rested. And as Moses began the nation of Israel, as they were freed from captivity of slavery in Egypt, God set forth on Mount Sinai, yet once again, the commandments. And in the commandments, we see, as recorded in the book of Exodus, in Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through verse number 11, we see where he says, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your animals, nor the alien within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Today we recognize and we realize, along with our brothers and sisters, that today is a day of rest. That today is a day of no work to be accomplished, of no work to be done. And this was even true with that in the Holy Week schedule. As we begin Shabbat, the Shabbat began at sundown on Friday, which for them it had become early, because at the death of Jesus Christ at 3 o'clock, the sun went down, and so they had to rush the body into the tomb. They didn't have time to prepare the body for a proper burial. So they put the body in the borrowed tomb of that of Joseph of Arimathea, closed up the tomb, and began to celebrate and recognize that as the Sabbath. Jesus Christ himself did not perform the resurrection on the Sabbath. Jesus Christ himself recognized his culture and his history and being part of the promised nation of Israel. And on the Sabbath day, he rested. On the Sabbath day, he took that time to not pull out the full extent of the resurrection, but took the time to recognize the promise and the commitment that is made in a relationship with God. Jesus Christ, according to the Gospel of Matthew, in Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 through 21, reminded the Jews that he did not come to abolish the law of the prophets, but to fulfill it. Jesus Christ, being a Jew himself from the house and the line of David, of that of the Messiah, did exactly what the Jews and the ancestors of the Jews had done. And on this day, they took this day to rest. On this day, he took a day for things to be able to be thought about, things to be reflected upon, things for people to be able to look at and to understand and take time to just think about. Think about the events that led up to this period, that led up to the death and burial of Jesus Christ, so that when the resurrection comes early the next morning, we begin to see the joy that is there. And the purpose of the Shabbat is peace. The purpose of the Shabbat is to recognize that nothing can be created separate from that of God. And if God did it, we are called to follow likewise. So on this day, take a day to rest. Take a day setting it apart from all other days. Not a day to work, not a day to do anything to create, but take it as a day to bask in God's glory. Set it apart, make it holy. Seek a day of looking at that of peace. In the world where there is so much need for peace, allow us to experience that peace this day. The Hebrew word for peace is shalom. So I encourage you, my friends, I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, as we stop, we pause, and we reflect on the Sabbath. We reflect on all that God has done and all that God has created. God has created as well the plan of salvation, the victory over death that comes through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, that we too shall live one day for all eternity because of what Christ has done that Easter morn. Take today to reflect on that. Take today to experience that Shabbat, that Sabbath, and allow yourself to experience that peace, that Shalom that comes and recognizes that God is in control of all. Shabbat Shalom, my friends. May God be with you as we recognize in a Hebrew expression, Baruch Hashem HaMashiach Yeshua, Baruch Hashem Adonai. Behold, the name of the Messiah is Jesus. Behold the name of the Lord. May God richly bless you this day as you live to serve him. Go together and go in peace. Shalom. Until next time, may God richly remind you of his love. Amen.
Thanks for watching. Go spread the good news.